Okay, hi everyone. Welcome again to Power of Community episode 2. And this week we're talking to Lee Baker, who's from London, Matt Beard, who's from Chester, I think that's right in saying, and also Sara Lagerquist. I told you.
Yeah.
Lagerquist. Okay. Sorry, Sara. From Sweden. Everyone.
Hi, that was a bad time for a drink.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go round the table and ask you to introduce yourself. So, Lee, let's start with you. Looking super dapper. Do you go to work dressed like that?
Sometimes, not all the time at all. If I can help it, I don't. Jeans t-shirt by choice, but
yeah.
depends on me, to be honest.
Quick intro. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, Lee. I'm lead developer at Metro Bank. Been here about 18 months, I guess. In the middle of London. Yeah, good time for a drink now. Yeah, that's me. That's what I do. I work in London all the time, so I love it up here.
Cool. Up here. So you live, have you moved house yet?
I have. I moved last weekend.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're near Wimbledon somewhere?
No, I went the other way. I'm in the Olympic Park. I'm now in the old athletes village, yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
What, are they converted into flats?
So again?
Are they converted into flats?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so the bit I'm in is slightly newer, but yeah, all of the Olympic Village is now flats. So out my window, I can see the velodrome and other bike racing tracks and stuff like that.
So nice.
Yeah, it is cool.
Right. Thanks very much. Okay, Matt.
Next. So I'm Matt Beard. I work for an ISV called Data 8. Try and do talking here, there, and everywhere. It's weirdly addictive, but I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. I am the team leader of the development team, so I sort of head up all of our ISV solutions and build them and try and keep at the cutting edge of all the Microsofty stuff, which is proving more and more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm Chester based, so I'd have nothing like that good view other than a motorway out of my window.
Motorway. Yeah. I need to talk to you about ISV stuff in a bit more detail at some point. I'm doing some work with an ISV and they've got typical kind of ISV problems, but I need to get some excellent experience. So I'll have a chat with you. All right, Sara, I'm not going to say your last name.
Go on, try again.
You live in, do you live in Stockholm?
I live in Stockholm, Stockholm in Sweden. I work as a Power Platform consultant for CRM-konsulterna, which is founded by Gustav Westerlund, who is an Microsoft MVP.
He's an old-time MVP. Not that I'm saying he's old, but he's been an MVP forever.
For a long time.
CRM Gustav, right? And so that's quite a new role, isn't it? You've been there, what, a few months?
Yes, 7 since March, pretty much. Yes.
Cool. And what sort of work do you do? Is it? I know you're not a fan of coding, so is it kind of pre-sales? Is it building stuff? Is it consulting?
Yeah, it's building, implementing new implementations mainly. Focused on that, but I also have quite a lot of experience when it comes to gathering requirements. So I support my colleagues in how to think when they go workshopping and stuff like that too.
Okay, good. Like more business analysis type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I find that's something that partners don't do very well, and they don't generally have business analysts or people that are trained to do that kind of analysis. And so they kind of send functional consultants along and they do their best. Me being one of them, I've done that in the past. And, I think that's a bit of a gap with a lot of partners. They're not great at it. But Lee, you're from a customer. You're from the mighty Metro Bank. Now, I don't want to call you Mr. Metro Bank, and I don't want to call you, Matt, Mr. Data 8 and kind of typecast you in that way. But Lee, you're known for being at Metro. And Matt, you're known for being at Data 8. So what sort of stuff you do at Metro, Lee, at the moment?
So at the moment, we got probably 2 big projects running. We've got our UCI upgrade or UI upgrade, the Unified Interface upgrade. So given that the system is colossal, we're at like 650 entities or something like that. there's quite a lot of work there, and they've probably all got jobs,
Wow.
to be honest. So it's a huge thing for us. The other one is the bank won a load of money from the innovation fund from the banking crash years ago. We've actually been awarded a lot of money through that as well. So a lot of it is other projects are to push that forward and introduce new capabilities to serve customers, but all of it is run through the platform. It's all done through Microsoft systems, which is quite
Cool. 650 entities.
yeah.
So have you run Solution Checker on them?
Yeah, it doesn't make for pretty reading at the moment.
Did it take about 4 hours to run?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we have to run it on a dedicated instance because we can't run it against a default solution.
As you do, you just have an instance for running Solution Checker. So obviously the clock's ticking. Really, you've got until October. You may have a bit longer because you're Metro Bank, but
we don't. It's
special
in
kids.
October.
Yeah, so October next year. So you've got a year to do this UCI upgrade, really.
Yeah, it's by May. So
by May, okay.
Yeah, get it done by May.
Wow, so that's a lot of work.
Yeah, we've been actively working on it about a month, I guess.
Right. And were you? I guess you could have started earlier, but were you waiting for the sort of deadline from Microsoft?
Not specifically, but that sits outside of my remit, to be honest. But yeah, it's tying it in with other projects as well. There's other projects that are taking priority. So this one's at this point in the timeline. And
you're looking at other things like PCF?
Yes. So one of the other things we're doing at the moment as well is spinning up a Power Apps instance as well. So to sit alongside the CE instance that we have, just a separate Power Platform instance, so that we can get different people building Power Apps for different parts of the business. And a lot of that we're going to be using some PCF controls within Canvas apps as well. So that's one of the things we're looking at doing. Looking at taking away a load of our JavaScript even within our CE instance and replacing it with some of the PCF controls. Just for a lot of it for validation and stuff like that.
Cool. You're on the bleeding edge as usual.
We're trying.
I was just looking at some of that stuff because I'm writing a talk for Wave 2 for a little talk that I've got coming up, and looking at Canvas PCF controls a bit. It's one of those things that's starting to I'm starting to think actually I'm too old for this shit now because I have to learn JS and this kind of stuff, and I'm starting to think, oh god, that's another technology I've got to learn. But yeah, so I think it's going to be good though. I mean, I keep saying like with Power Platform in 18 months time it's going to be great, and I can see once all this kind of stuff is out of the way, and we've got forms that reflow, responsive forms, essentially model-driven apps and Canvas apps kind of coming together, PCF working across both solutions, solution packaging working properly, all that kind of platformy stuff. It's going to be so cool. But it's a little bit clunky and painful at the moment. Like
things,
Canvas apps and solutions being a bit
or flow solutions, some of it is needs a bit of work, but it's getting there.
And I guess people like customers like you are really pushing the edges of what is possible, and are how Microsoft improves the product for everybody else. So thank you for being big.
It's a good test for their scalability. It's very hard to test the volumes of data other than people like at Metro Bank and those things. I think you've got layers of people and you can't test it, and that's the biggest problem. Speed on scale.
So we're going off on a little bit of a Power Apps tangent, but Matt, you've done some work with PCF, and I was starting to look at like components, Canvas components, which I think is that's kind of the no code config type components for Canvas apps versus PCF, which is obviously very techy. Have you used both of those, or just PCF at the moment?
Both. My problem with the component side of it is that it's harder to sort of get out of one instance and into another. I often look at stuff with an ISV head on, because I'm not just building our tools, I'm building things that need to quite clearly come out and sit in other people's systems. So I'm not just thinking about my business, I'm thinking about other people's. So if you've got, if you use the component side of it that clicks into a flow, you then can't reuse those components in other places because the whole thing doesn't quite sit together. Whereas for me, PCF works better because it all exists there. It's all sort of housed in the same place.
Yeah.
I think it does depend what hat you're wearing and how it works.
I guess it's horses for courses, but yeah, it's interesting because, like I was saying, I've started doing some work with an ISV, and you really have to change your perspective, because you're not just, like you say, you're not just building for your organization, you're building for people that could have anything already, and trying to kind of just slot in and not interrupt anything that they're doing. So that I guess is your entire world most of the time anyway. But yeah, it's interesting kind of way of looking at it.
I mean, I love the PCF, but it's deep, man. Like it's complex. It isn't no build a flow. You really have to get your head into it. I've foolishly offered to take inspiration from Jonas's build an XRM Toolbox live tool. I've foolishly decided to build a PCF tool live at Mark Christie's Scottish Summit next year.
What could go wrong, right?
So at
the
time it was a good idea, and as time goes on and it gets closer, I'm thinking, yeah, that was a mistake. So
you're going to be hoping that the wave 1 for next year will be in preview by then, because it will be actually. It will be early access by then, and hopefully they'll have fixed loads of things kind of along the way.
Well, I'm hoping PCF will be in GA. It feels like that's been forever coming.
For Canvas or for
model driven.
Yeah, for model I think it is. Yeah.
Is it? It's not in there yet, I don't think, unless I missed it.
Okay, I'd have to look at the.
Might be wrong. I've not checked for a while.
Yeah. And Sarah, are you just trying to keep away from all this stuff? Or I like components. Like, one of the things that frustrates me about building Canvas apps is that it's really sort of version 1, and you can't do things like themes and even basic stuff like that. Branding, it's quite difficult. You have to kind of have these kludgy workarounds, but components seem like a bit of a nicer way of doing that. Have you had a chance to play with them or no?
You want me to comment? I actually haven't worked that much with the Canvas app, so I haven't run into the clumpiness or the positive effect.
So I guess I was assuming that you are kind of big on Canvas apps, because it is a bit more not citizen developer, but you can build stuff and be very productive without.
Well, I've played with it, definitely, and I've kept myself like updated on what you can do, just not how to do it, because I want to still be able to use it for that business scenario when I find it. But so far, I haven't run into a project where I need to implement it.
Okay.
So it's mostly been me playing around and learning stuff. And I'm a CRM girl, so most of my time is still model-driven apps and everything that comes related to Dynamics.
I'm CRM. I'm a CRM. I'll say man, not boy anymore. But yeah, I'm kind of the same in that I like trying it out, but yeah, mostly the people that I deal with, the customers I deal with, are way behind the curve. I've been fortunate or unfortunate enough to do an on-prem project recently where they're on 8.2, and trying to get that up.
I can rate you to tell you my current project's a CRM4 project. Does that count?
You've got everybody beat there. Yeah, it's it just, you have to kind of switch your head back into being worried about like performance, and I mean, not that you're not completely worried about it with online, it's just not always your problem with online, but yeah. Sarah, let's talk about your MVP, right? How did that come about, do you think?
Well, how long ago is it now? Almost 3 months in, I'm pretty much. So I got the award on 1st of July, and I was super shocked. I was like completely super duper shocked. I got nominated in like May or something, and I got an email that they were so busy with renewals, they wouldn't even look at the nomination, and I haven't been active for that long, maybe like since November last year, pretty much. So I was like, no, this is not going to happen. They're not even looking at it. No worries. And then, so when I got the email that I got the award, I was like super shocked. It took me a couple of weeks to actually get it, wrap it around my head around it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it's back to that, imposter syndrome thing. You kind of think, why me? And it takes a while to sort of find your voice a little bit, and you're with all these other people like Gustav who have just been around forever, and Eunice. And yeah, it just takes a while. And also, it's a fire hose of information, and you've got like 9 different channels or whatever that you can use, and you need to keep an eye on. And it's like having another job that you've got to fit in somewhere. And then once you get it, you have to then retain it, and so keep doing everything that you are doing, and also doing all the MVP stuff as well. So. And not that I'm complaining, but it's quite a shock. Like once you kind of get into it.
How long have you had
it? Sorry.
I just asked how long Andy had it.
From what was it, in November 2017? Yeah. So I didn't have to go through renewal because they changed the dates that the renewal went through. So I kind of got about 18 months, 19 months, and then I've just went through renewal this year. Excuse me. It's very cool, but it's also very daunting.
Yeah, it is. I felt when you were mentioning imposter syndrome, it was getting like, I had a lot of it before, but after getting awarded, it was just like in my head even more. So I think I posted my first blog post since the award last week, because I had like up in my mind that what I produce has to be like, I just couldn't get anything out. And then last week I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. Just do it. Yeah, it
is. You feel the eyes of people like kind of watching you. So like I've dealt with imposter syndrome over the years a lot. And it was only kind of 5 or 6 years ago actually, when I kind of started to feel confident about what I could do and how I dealt with people and customers and situations, and actually I felt like I had enough information where I started to build my confidence. And that was about the same time I started doing more speaking, like doing more user group, CRM user group as it was. And those two things kind of went hand in hand in building my confidence. I still have it, particularly like around this group of people that I interact with, but and this kind of awesome community that we've got. How has it affected you guys? Do you still feel like a bit of an imposter? Do you feel there's an expectation that you should know everything? Lee?
Yeah, I do, to a point. I think for me it was very much when coming up to London, because I was in small company before, down south, and it was like I need to go and find out the bigger world and kind of come up and see bigger systems and see what's going further. And it was just jumping in the deep end and just seeing all the amazing people around and how much they know. It does get to you, but I think I'd be overselling it if I said it was imposter syndrome to a degree. But yeah, I did find that type of thing really difficult.
Yeah, I think it's good that you push yourself, and I think that's how you can particularly develop your confidence. But like you, Lee, moving up to London and going to somewhere like Metro Bank, which is big customer, lots of focus, lots of public focus, apart from anything else. It's in the city papers all the time, or it used to be. But actually, you've been doing Dynamics. You've been doing Dynamics for quite a while, haven't you? Like 7 years.
Yeah, about 7 years, I guess now. Yeah. So. But that started in IT, so I was a completely different life before, so it was learning from scratch at that point.
So that was quite a big leap to go into kind of a big company doing Dynamics, lots of already lots of stuff done already.
Yeah.
But that sort of felt like the right thing to do, and because you didn't mess about, you didn't go for other companies, you just kind of went in some big profile stuff.
Yeah, well, the opportunity was there, and it was a great place to learn. So
Mm.
that's a great move looking back at it now.
Yeah, cool.
So glad I did it.
And now you're kind of starting to step into speaking a bit more. You are speaking in Stockholm, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
With
I am.
Lucy Muscat. Let's
Yeah.
come back to that. But do you feel like, because you've done a little bit now, do you feel like that is, are you getting the bug?
Yeah, I am a little bit actually. It's good it validates your own knowledge, I think, as much as anything, and it does make sure you know this stuff before you go up there. So
that is the biggest thing, like for addressing your nerves, is to know your topic. You know, it doesn't have to be a big topic, but just know what you're talking about, because then you can kind of talk around the subject and answer questions and stuff like that. That was the biggest thing for me, for my nerves, is to not really, I don't really practice my talks. I ad hoc a fair bit, and I just have bullet points and stuff on the screen because that's just what I prefer. But yeah, if it's a new topic, then I don't feel confident.
Yeah.
Hence my PCF nerves.
Yeah, you're at the whims of Microsoft and whatever they produce. And how about you, Matt? Because you've really started doing lots of talking. You're at pretty much every user group now.
I think I've done every user group for about 5 years now.
I was going to say, so you've been doing it almost as long as I have, like the London one. You, Mark Carrington, you've been to many of them, and doing things like European Summit, and you've done obviously the summit in the States for the user group.
Yeah.
Are you talking all of these things now?
Yeah, so I mean, it's this time in Orlando, the only one talk we've got is a sort of a showcase talk, so it's more of a demo. So I'm relaxed at that because that's the stuff I do day in, day out. There's presentations that I'm writing to educate people. So at the time of recording, or the time this goes out, this will have been yesterday. I'm giving a talk in Manchester, so whatever this works out at, it's Thursday night. I am giving a presentation then, and I'm nervous for that one because it's a new one. I've not written, I've not given the talk, and I need to have the belief that I know what I'm talking about.
Is that on CF as well?
No, that's on top X data quality tips, which means X means I can cut and change as many slides as I want right up to the last point, and I don't have to commit to a number. So that was my clever algebra hack that means I can edit it with up to a few minutes to go. So it's not an ISV presentation, but it's things that I've worked in for 8 years. So I've seen mistakes people make.
Yeah.
So that's the one I'm giving. So speaking is weird. Like, I hated speaking at first. I absolutely hated it. But now it's a weird bug. It's like tattoo pain. If you ever had a tattoo, it's like you don't like it, but then you think, oh, actually, I want to do it again. And you just keep doing it, and you keep putting yourself through that pain.
Yeah. You keep like
sure, right? Like before, when you submit, you're like, yeah, I really want to go. And then like a couple of weeks before, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Why did I do this? And then when you're standing there, you're still like, okay, this is going to go. This is going to work. And then afterward, it feels amazing.
The 5 minutes before, when your heart is pumping out your chest, is just awful. But then the second a few words come out, it's actually all right.
Yeah.
The first talk I ever gave was a great idea. It was one Adam Vera did. When it was like loads of people just had 5 to 10 minute speaks. That was all it was. And that was a nice little slow intro into getting up in front of a room. The pivotal moment I had, I think, was, and it's a bit imposter syndrome related, is that the thing that you think is basic to somebody else isn't. So you need to realize that actually, just because I learned this 2 years ago and I know it inside out, the people I'm speaking to don't assume they do know it, because they probably don't, or at least somebody in the room doesn't. So that person.
I think it's a really good point, because I was I had the same thing with this talk that I'm writing at the moment. Is I'm talking about Wave 2 for Dynamics and Power Platform, and I was going to I pretty much just assumed everybody knew how the update process worked, and I was just kind of gloss over it and say these are the dates, blah blah blah. But I've actually ended up extending that quite a lot, and I'm going to talk about it quite a lot, because I've realized that actually, even though we've been through an update cycle in April already, lots of people don't know how it works still. And it is that thing of, just because you assume everyone knows it, they don't necessarily. So that's what I think about talking generally, is even if you struggle to think of a topic and you just talk about, your project or what a customer you're working with, there's always something that people will take away from that. So it's just to, make a start on it, really.
Yeah, also focus on those people who actually learn something, because I find that in the beginning I was so focused on all the people who probably already knew some of the stuff I was talking about, until I was like, okay, fuck those people. I don't need to think about those. I need to focus on the people who don't know this stuff. There are actually my target audience.
And I think that's great if you're at an event that's got multiple tracks, because then it's self-selecting. Like the people that know it already, they won't come to your talk, and so you hope that the people who are in that room want to learn about what you're talking about. So
again, then I find to know that the people you're talking to can communicate back. So if you can ask them a question and go, who in the room knows this, or who in the room does this as a role, you can at least go, okay, I reckon that third of the room that do that role don't know what this is, so I know there's some people related. So you can keep filtering it down to who knows what, I think. And once I got the confidence to ask the room a question and realize that they can respond to me, then like, this is real. It changes it, I think, and gives you a bit more confidence.
Yeah. How are you finding it, Lee? Because you're doing a talk with Lucy Muscat in Stockholm, which we want to talk about now. What's the topic of that one?
So it's a bit more of a customer journey, really. So we thought, I was at the last UG and I really liked the roadmap session that the Microsoft guys did. So I thought, kind of, how could we take something through like a customer process, from using things like Virtual Assistant, Forms Pro, and just go through some of the newer stuff as well. So Power Apps portals, Canvas and model driven, bit of flow in there, Flick buttons, Teams, and cognitive services. And how can we just plow as much tech into this, but also actually show the kind of amazing journey we could take anything through, really.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So,
and no stress on the demos, I don't imagine.
Oh, it'll all be recorded. We'll do it live, but yeah, there'll be backup recordings.
Good stuff. Cool. Well, let's talk about Stockholm. So that is a 365 Saturday event that's happening the weekend after next, and the date would be October the 5th. Yeah. So, Sara, you're organising this with Jonas. Is it just you and Jonas? Or?
No, we also have Gustav and my CEO, Catherine, who puts in a lot of work, and a few others, but mainly the four of us are the ones dedicated.
Awesome. And how have you found that experience of trying to organise a conference for a good number of people, at least?
Way more to do than I anticipated. Like, there's so much to do and so much stress and little details and people asking questions and like mixing. Oh my God, I'm not sure I will do this again.
That's what I hear from everybody that organises a conference. Like, I'm never doing this again. And then the next year rolls around and they've forgotten about all that.
Yeah, probably. And we're so grateful because we have like 28 speakers or something like that. We have 18 of them being MVPs. We have so many amazing, the speaker lineup is incredible. We have so many people like offering to contribute with their knowledge on that Saturday. It's I'm blown away with the community offering.
It is. It's going to be amazing. And do you feel like you're on track with the organisation?
I hope so. I think we got most of it covered. We have a few things we have to sort out with the sponsors and stuff, but also I don't know why, but I said I would do a co-session with Scott Duro.
Why
not? But like plan the event and also plan for a session on it. It's taking up a lot of time.
Yeah, sure. I was going to ask you if you're speaking as well. So are you doing like you had that interview with him a few months ago with Scott about no code? Are you doing like a battle royale coder versus no code?
We're doing a twist of that. Something like that.
Scott is one of those people that I've known him for a long time, before Dynamics days, And when I met him again, when we both got into dynamics completely separately, he was always one of those people that gave me imposter syndrome, because no matter how much you know, and this is part of getting over imposter syndrome, no matter how much you know and you think you've got a handle on things, you meet somebody like Scott and you feel, shit, I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. And you just have to get comfortable with that feeling, really. I'm sure Scott has it too when he meets, I don't know, Elon Musk or, Scott Guthrie or somebody. But he's just a machine. I look forward to those sessions.
Just everything, every possible topic as well.
Yeah.
Obscene knowledge on it.
And what's more annoying is that he's really nice as well. And I really want him to be a terrible person, like but no, he's really nice, and he's got, this beautiful family and, lovely kind of life going on. And it doesn't make me sick, but
I'm enjoying seeing the internet's reaction to his step too far JavaScript in Canvas apps PCF component that he's just.
Yeah.
I saw that come up on LinkedIn. I didn't dive into it too much. What was that kind of the deal? He was calling.
So you can literally write native JavaScript within a Canvas app.
Okay. So you can be tech if you want to be tech.
Yes. It raises a question to why, and it's going to blow people's minds. And is it a step too far? But we all know what Scott's like for pushing the boundaries.
Mm. He probably would have thought that through.
To be honest, it's probably a prereq because he knows he's about to fight Sara with the event in Sweden, so he's just trying to get people inside before the event.
Yeah, it's popularity contest. That's what it is. You need to.
I'll lose to Mr. Nice Guy.
No, you won't.
You just have all the developers at one side and then all of the no-code people at the other side, won't you?
You want to do that? Just divide the room as people come in. Just make the developers sit on one side.
Oh, it's like the bride and groom side. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Yeah, bring alcohol. It'll be all right. And so, let's talk about things that are not dynamics for a little while, like personal life stuff. Matt, you're a dad.
I am. I have a 2-year-old.
So I've got 2 kids, but mine are much bigger now. They're 11 and 14, and so they're kind of hard work in other ways. But I can't actually remember what a 2-year-old's like.
So mine is 2 and mid sleep progression, so that's fun. Hence why I'm still in the office at 8 o'clock at night.
You're just trying to get some work done.
We have got Summit Orlando coming up, so as much as I am sad leaving them for a week, I do think that's also a week of sleeping that I can get on the evenings. So I have that selfish front to it as well.
Will you sleep in Summit?
All work and no play.
Yeah.
No, I'll be there, so there will be a lot of play.
I definitely wasn't just looking at Universal Orlando tickets on the internet just before basketball started, honestly. Nice.
And how about you, Lee? You're you've got that bachelor lifestyle, haven't you? Just like partying weekend.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. No, I like going back home. So all my friends are still South Coast, so I'm back down there probably every 3 weeks, I guess. Head back down there. Big football fans. We spend a lot of time at football, so that's usually, whether it's playing or watching. That's usually me outside of work, if I'm not geeking around with stuff anyway.
It's so like, you could spend your weekends. That's the thing about computers generally, is that they're just time sinks. You can just spend so much time just pissing about with something and then think, that's 4 hours of my life, I'm never going to get back again.
YouTube rabbit hole as well, and just watching random little geeky videos and things, and hours have gone by.
It's so easy to spend your evenings and weekends just messing about with stuff, and I try not to do that anymore. And Sarah, how about you? Are you married? You don't have kids yet?
No kids, not married. I do have a boyfriend, and we have a dog.
Nice.
A dog. So when I'm not at conferences and partying, I'm very much like an old lady. I have a little summer cottage. I grow my own food. I knit. I I cook like my own marmalade and jams and stuff. That's pretty much what I do. Being a very old lady.
Yeah, you're settling into that old age, early on.
I'm practicing.
And I think there's a lot of talk about cats in our community, and I'd like to address that balance. So yeah, exactly right. So
I'm a
what's
dog
your dog called?
Definitely dogs.
Oh, awesome! We're a dog person call. We can just talk about dogs all the time. What's your dog called, Sarah?
Max.
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 Oh,
Swedish
cool.
Max.
Max. Okay. And what sort of dog is it?
He's oh no, you're going to challenge my English. Is this Staffordshire Bull Terrier?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Pretty sure.
It's better than Andy said your surname.
That's more difficult than my surname.
See, I can do it very slowly. Lagerquist.
Oh, that's good.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm on to my second beer now, so I'm loosening. My tongue is loosening up. And Matt, did you say you got a dog?
I do. I have a cockapoo called Ralph.
Wow.
It was Ralph or Kevin because we love Home Alone 2, and I just wanted to be in a park and shout Kevin as a Home Alone reference. But we eventually settled on.
I'm not sure if Ralph or Kevin is better actually, but Ralph's quite a funny name.
It's a good name for a dog.
I'd like a dog, but yeah, I'm not allowed. Mainly because I'm not here very much, and so I wouldn't, look after it and be up in the night when it's a puppy and stuff like that. But one day, that'll be good.
Okay. You can do the rent a dogs. You can always rent people's dogs for walks.
Yeah, I had a friend who did that. There's like a website you can go on. There's thousands of people on it, isn't there? And she would borrow one over Christmas. So like people go away for Christmas and they need to put their dog somewhere, and yeah, she would just borrow somebody's dog and have it for Christmas, which was lovely for her, and good for the dog, good for the owners.
I wouldn't dare to lend my dog to a stranger.
No.
I would feel sorry if I ever took my dog, to be honest, because he's nuts.
Oh, good. Yeah, dogs are the best. Like there is a lot of talk about cats, but cats are disrespectful in my view. And they just don't care unless you're feeding them or petting them.
I can feel the hate coming ready from Emma and Sarah.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
I hope they're not.
Like we're in a safe environment.
Andy said the negative things on cats.
Yeah. It wasn't the rest of us.
No, it's true. Every clip you see of a cat on YouTube or on something like Reddit or something, the cat is being a dick, right? Every clip of a dog, the dog is being awesome and lovely and friendly, saving somebody's life. When was the last time a cat, dragged a child from a river or something? It just doesn't happen.
The best clips are cats and dogs like snuggling together. That's awesome.
Cats and dogs living together. Cool stuff. All right. What's good? What's new? What's happening? What do you like? Going back to work stuff. What's cool that you're excited about? Virtual agents.
Virtual agent, yeah. Just the use of that, I think it's just going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really useful for a lot of places.
What I love about it is it's no code again. You can, build these fairly complex little scenarios through configuration.
Yeah. That's
the breakthrough for me.
Yeah, that for me and Canvas apps. I mean, I know some of you guys said you haven't used them that much, but just the fact that it means we can get a lot more people building them right, and we can get more people building better systems quicker and easier. I just think they're cool. I think they're really cool. They look much nicer, don't they, for the user interface?
Yeah, I think there's that danger of it's like when I used to build Windows apps and before I got into Dynamics, and you could make a really ugly Windows app, and developers are terrible at that kind of stuff, and terrible at UX and terrible at design generally, not all of them. And I feel like that's going to come for PCF and Canvas apps. We're just going to get some hideous looking, bright green and purple applications. Whereas with Dynamics, we've got a nice, unified interface. The more I use it, the more I like it. And I'm just so afraid of the hideousness that's going to come.
when these two products start to merge further, that's going to be interesting as well.
Yeah, we'll see. And how about, so I've been looking at lots of Wave 2 stuff. What's exciting on that side? So I do quite a lot of sales stuff. So I'm looking at sales insights and things like that. That's blowing people's minds. When I show it to them, they're just like, oh my God, the robots are going to take over the earth, because, like conversation intelligence, which I love, and like predictive forecasting and stuff like that, which has been like kind of around for a while, but it's been so hard and so expensive to do. But actually is becoming very, very simple. And that's where I really like the AI that Microsoft are doing, making things very simple for to do some complex stuff. Matt, how about you? What's cool in your world apart from PCF?
I mean, so I've been doing Canvas apps more and more, and I'm a big flow person. But I like the complex side of flow. So the one thing I was doing last few weeks, which is cool, is doing the more advanced actions of a Dynamics instance, but through a flow. So calling custom actions in a custom connector and doing some more sorts of crazy dark level stuff within these. It's hard because I guess I see all the stuff that's launching, but I don't really see it practically. I mean, we're still on premise because we use on premise and we develop for on premise. So I see the theory of these new things coming out, but I don't see the sort of field usage of it and how people are going to practically use it. So I'm only now finally starting to buy in that I can see the genuine usage for a Canvas app in an organization. So it takes a lot for me to see how it can be used to sort of get excited by it.
It's a combination of, like, again, looking at the Wave 2 stuff, and I'm trying to write a talk that fits in an hour, and I've just got no hope whatsoever because there's so much stuff coming out, and there's even new kind of products like Dynamics for Commerce. Never even heard of that. And I just found it going through the release notes. I was like, what the hell was that? And it's partly that I feel like Canvas apps and Flow and Power Apps generally are really in their infancy. And I think once they get much more established, then people start to think of better uses for them, and also all that governance stuff will be a bit better. I think it's a bit clunky at the moment. So it feels like we're starting to go up the wave for all of this stuff. But I have to say, like, it does feel like with mixed reality and all the retail stuff coming out, commerce and all that, it feels like they've just got thousands of people and they're just churning stuff out, Microsoft. And how much of it will be around in 3 years' time? It's a bit like throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks, really. Some of these products I think will appear and then fade away, like Market Insights, right? That started to be a product and I was quite interested in it because it was quite clever. And then they took the axe to it and turned it into a really basic kind of alerting tool that was based on Bing Insights, which is obviously quite a small segment of the search engine market. And now they're kind of bringing it back to life with some more features, more functionality. But if I'd invested in that originally, I'd be pretty pissed off.
I remember MDM. So we were going to launch MDM when it first came out, and we all know how that went down.
Yeah.
So how did that work out?
Yeah, well, we don't use it now.
Bit of a waste of time. And that's kind of what I feel like for some of these products is it's hard to make a case when they're so early on for customers to invest. So you want those bleeding edge customers like Metro to get through all the hurdles before you start looking at them seriously. But it's interesting times, right?
Parity on UCI, that's the thing I'm desperate for. I that is slowly been coming more and more, and now we have a date. We might have it soon, and I'm excited to see where that goes and see how they redo some stuff or what they will or won't do. I don't know.
I think that is going to take a while to close every single gap. I mean, obviously, web clients going away in October next year, but even then, there may still be some stuff. So that'll be hybrid effectively. But there are some nice things. Advanced Find, keep your eye out for what that's going to be. That's going to be cool. and a much better experience for users. So they are getting there. It's just the pace is crazy. There's the pace they have to churn this stuff out. Sarah?
Yeah, I was gonna say that like I really like the look of omnichannel. Like you were saying, it's so early on. I would like to implement it, but I still wouldn't because it's too fresh, too young.
Yeah.
But I really like the way it's going. Like the old service or the service first party app hasn't changed that much. It's kind of hard to work with in some cases. I find that when I implement it anyways, and I feel that the omnichannel can change a lot of those common requests that comes from the customers. So yeah, the omnichannel seems interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in it too. I remember looking at it about this time last year when it started to kind of filter out. And I wanted to demo it, and I kind of went to Microsoft or to the product team, and it was just like not quite vaporware, but there wasn't really anything to demo. And it's still, I mean, it's better now, but it is one of those things where I think there is an investment in channel integration framework. That seems to be getting some really big investment to do that integration with phone systems and, web chat or whatever, Facebook Messenger, anything you like, really. But what that will turn into over the years, I don't know. I agree. It's promising, but you need some kind of really big customers to take it on.
Again, the rate of change, though, you're just never going to know. I mean, look where it's gone 3 or 4 years. It's madness. The whole platform is just
the speed of change. Yeah, there's just no way to keep up with it all, is there?
No.
Just no way at all.
How do you do that? How do you attempt to do that?
It's probably the community stuff, to be honest. I've been able so much more current since I've started going to the community stuff, just because I dip into the sessions, as you kind of talked about, the sessions I know nothing about. We kind of break our team into sort of focus groups as well, so that we have little pockets of the team keeping up to date on the different first party apps and the different platform. Then we kind of just make sure the culture's there to share that around. But
that's a great idea.
Yeah, without a team kind of like that, I don't know how I'd keep it up. Still struggle.
How about you guys?
Twitter for me. I have specific people I follow and channels I follow, and it's not let other people do the work. I don't mean like that, but people like to pick their specific things they're going to talk about. So I sort of know that I'm going to learn new things from new people just as I'm reading Twitter.
Yeah, for me, it's like all community channels like Twitter, Slack, all the community events, everything where I learn more about what's out there than how to do stuff out there, because that's usually what I can figure out myself or ask someone. A bit more about like, what can you do? When can you do it? Why should you do it? Why should you not do it? And the experience from people who's done it and adapted like a best practice. That's what I aim for.
I do purposely sort of not learn things though as well, because otherwise I won't be able to know it all. There's people that are into nav or F&O or whatever we call it nowadays. I will very purposely stay away from all of those because it won't go in. If that goes in, something more useful will go.
Falls out. Yeah. I'm the same. And like, I think with even things like field service and PSA, there's people that just do that. And I would much rather, if I needed to know something, go to them, go to their blogs, go to their videos, than try and learn it myself now, because the product range is so massive. And I was thinking about this the other day, I tend to kind of learn through osmosis of, looking on LinkedIn and, like you say, Slack and, a bit on Twitter and things like that, and also the MVP channels. Rather than try and learn something specifically, I kind of just pick up bits. And that's often all people want. They just want an idea of, in my space anyway, where it's a bit more like solution architecture. I don't have to know how to build a PCF control. I just have to know, kind of the working bits and how they fit together. and that's about all I can do anyway, because there is so much information and so much to know. But it's a huge challenge. I think in the last few years, the amount of information has just exploded, and videos and events and like Twitter and LinkedIn and everything. You just can't keep track of it all. Cool. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap up. But I would like to ask Sara, any spaces left for Stockholm?
Yeah, we have 40 seats left.
40?
Yeah, so there's still time to register.
Okay, how do I do that? Have I registered? I think I have.
I really hope you do, because if you don't get lunch.
Oh, no, I won't get in.
You realise none of the speakers will have registered.
Yeah.
No, that's why I sent out a survey, to make sure that you have. Yeah, so you go to 365portal.org, I think. You put it in your notes.
I will in show notes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. So it is going to be an amazing event. I think the speakers there are just incredible. I can't believe you've still got seats left, to be honest. But yeah, it's worth the trip, I think. It's going to take me a little while to get there. I underestimated the travel arrangements I needed to make before I submitted. It's one of those, exactly like, you don't really think about the talk you're going to give when you submit like 4 months before. I didn't think about the travel arrangements either.
How long will it take for you How long will it take for you to come?
About 5 or 6 hours.
Really?
So, but it'll be worth it. I've never been. I'm really looking forward to it. I hear really good things about Stockholm, Sweden generally, and there's gonna be some amazing people there. So it'll be lots of fun. So grab a seat. I'll put the link in the show notes. Anything else we want to put in the show notes? Anybody?
No.
So we talked a bit about PCF and Wave 2, and I'm going to see if there is a recording of Emma Darcy's imposter syndrome talk, because that was really, really good.
I did see that she's getting it recorded.
Excellent. So I'll put that in there too. That'd be great.
And Sara and I, not together, are talking at Summit Orlando as well. So if forgetting this probably isn't just an English audience. So
So Summit Orlando is when? October the
15th, 16th, around then, that week.
Yeah.
Okay,
the Wednesday
cool.
to Friday, whatever that week is.
And if you go to ugsummit.com, I think it is, you can find it.
na.usergroupsummit.com is the North American one.
User Group Summit, cool. Okay. I will put a link in the notes for that as well. I wish I could be there. I unfortunately have to earn a living and not spend all my time at conferences. But yeah, I'm sure it'd be a great time. And very educational, not just one long.
That's why
session.
I'm going.
Good. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I will get this out in the next few days, but have a good evening, and I'll speak to you again soon.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Bye.
Cheers.